Hello YouTube, welcome to my YouTube channel, Anna Bella, and today I am going to be reviewing the Joker 2, also known as Joker, the Folie for two. In French it's Folie à deux, which means the delusion of two. And this is an actual mental health disorder. Just to let you know, also I'm putting out a trigger warning. This will be discussing mental health, this will be discussing Joker and Harley Quinn, this will be discussing a whole host of issues that are triggering, like consent and prisoner abuse and so on and so forth. If that's not for you, skip. There, I've done the public service announcement for welfare and triggering, so on to the review. Okay, so Joker 2, The Folie for Two, is a musical film. It is controversial, and it should be controversial, because anything to do with a live action Joker and Harley Quinn is going to be controversial, because there's limits on what they can actually get them to do. As this is the first time they've met, they've done some changes, and I think that they've actually done them really, really well. The abuse dynamic between Lee and Joker has been diminished and reduced, as they're both patients. She just happens to be in the pretty part of the hospital, not a criminal inmate like the Joker is. We're also going to talk about transference, because there are several relationships happening in this movie. Transference is where a person who is vulnerable gets influenced by another person. So you could say the Joker in his relationship and the prison guard, who's played by that really good Irish actor, and I forgot his name. I think it's Brian Gleeson. Yeah, I've remembered his name, who plays the prison guard. Transference is where a more dominant person influences a weaker person, and you see that with the prison guard and his relationship with Arthur Fleck, aka the Joker. You also have transference going on with the Joker and Lee. Lee is the name for Harley Quinn in this movie, and I'm loving the fact that they only gave her a Harley Quinn name once she'd put on her makeup, and it was the traditional red and black, which was nice. You also had a three-way transference from the Joker, from the prison guard to Arthur Fleck, to that young male prisoner who he kissed in the yard. Yes, they did focus on the LGBT aspect of the Joker, because he is not straight by any means, and in this it harked back to his abuse as a child, and it was very creepy and interesting and highly unnerving. I'm just putting that out there. You also had his relationship with his lawyer, who actually saw him as Arthur Fleck, whose mental disorder had caused him to murder 5 people. Because remember, the first 3 people he killed were teasing him, and he just snapped, and then the full Joker came out, because he got fed up with being abused. That was in Joker 1. So you do have to have watched Joker 1 to be able to understand Joker 2. Overall, for me, I found Joker 2 like a fascinating puzzle that I was piecing together with my mind. Some people found it slow, some people find it boring. Another chap said, oh, it's just 2 lunatics singing to each other. And I'm like, yeah, because Harley Quinn is not exactly sane, and neither is Arthur Fleck. What did you think? I liked the slow pace. I liked the unnerving and unsettling atmosphere of it. It's rated 15, and it is 138 minutes long. 5 out of 5 from me. I love the fact that it harked back to jazz clubs, and you had that Sonny and Cher atmosphere. That relationship was abusive, by the way. Just pointing that out. Because what people fail to understand is the Joker is a character from the late 1950s, 1940s, that we have dragged kicking and screaming into 2024. He's an old-fashioned guy with old-fashioned values. So this is reflected in the world of Batman, because TV for them is a new thing actually in this, and that's why the Joker is obsessed with being broadcast, because he knows he can get his message out to more people. And it's interesting that you have, in this film, you start off with Arthur, then you go to the Joker, then you go back to Arthur again, and we have that heartbreaking scene on the steps, which I will talk about. So nothing's, spoiler alert, everything's on the table here to be discussed. I'm liking the fact that with Lee, we know that she lies compulsively, we know that she steals, and that she starts fires. This is very, very interesting, because we've got the pregnancy thing. Is that a lie? Who knows? You've also got the issue of consent, because every time Arthur Fleck is alone with somebody, like the guards put Lee in with him for a joke whilst he was in the sin bin, was that consensual sex? Probably not. They also, it is heavily implied that there's male rape of Arthur Fleck that turned him back to Arthur Fleck from the Joker persona. So what his prison guard has effectively done is knows when to turn Joker on and off within Arthur, which is really quite creepy. The only reason that Arthur got to go to that singing class because the guard wanted to go to that singing class, and he thought that he was doing something nice for him, because the guards literally think that Arthur is going to be a roast turkey and die in the electric chair. That's why they're treating him, you know, he gets to go first, he gets to do this, because Arthur doesn't have a voice. So they are doing that for him as part of their duty of care, but they're also abusing it, obviously. And it's interesting when Arthur says, oh, thanks for that, pal, and he then gets smacked by the guard, and that puts him right back in his place. It's not an equal relationship. This is not friendship. I'm the prison guard, you are a prisoner. That is really interesting. I love the fact that you also got to see the switch. This was just a joy for me. It was so fun to intellectually piece it all together. It was like a puzzle, some kind of, yeah, it was great. You can understand why Batman enjoys having a nemesis like the Joker, because you have to piece it together. And what was really interesting, this is a huge spoiler, was at the end, there was this young psycho that was in all of the scenes with the group of people that were the inmates. And he was usually leaning on a pillar at the back, so he was watching everything that was going on. And towards the end, you got that scene where he says, a psychopath walks into a bar with a clown. That is going to be the psychopathic Joker. So Joker is a mantle that's passed on. And it sets up this film for the next one. Because remember, Bruce Wayne in the first one was only 10. And his parents, you know, at the end of that one had died. So very easily we could get a Joker 3 with this new guy and Lee. And what's really tragic about Lee is Arthur loves Lee, but Lee loves the Joker. And yes, Lee did recognise that, Arthur did recognise that Lee was a fool. And that's all he said, but he still loved her. And at the end, he was like, no, come away, we need to leave. And she was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. This is the thing. And it's so interesting about Arthur's lack of control over the Joker idea. It's got away from him. Even he can't control it. And it's like when he breaks down and he has that laugh, it's just like, oh my goodness, I should be crying, but I'm just going to laugh at this because this is so tragic. Because the Joker is a tragic character, and the opposite of tragedy is comedy. So you either have loads of fun, loads of laughter, but you also have tragedy, and Harley Quinn and the Joker sum that up. They are basically a modern day Punch and Judy. That's how they were presented in the original animated cartoon. In fact, the reason the Joker had to have Harley Quinn as a character is they were starting to struggle how on earth could they use him without some softening influence, because this is supposed to be a kid's show. 25 minutes kids cartoon. They needed something in there to soften the Joker, to make him at least, you know, okay to watch, because at that point he wasn't, even if he was voiced by the lovely Mark Hamill. So I'm giving this movie 5 out of 5. I enjoyed it. I love the slow pace. I love the fact it took time and you really got to know these characters like a character study. Yes, it was grimy. It had that uncomfortableness, but the songs really made this. You got to understand their point of view. I love the bit when Arthur told her, stop singing, I want to talk to you. But in that moment, Arthur realised that Lee is batshit insane. She's not a sane girl, and I like that. Because Arthur, when he is Arthur, yes, he is mentally ill, but he is a sane person. Which is interesting in itself. And it's only when he splits that he's, you know, very violent. But you could also say that he's been put down, he's been put upon. If you bully somebody long enough, they'll either do two things. They'll either mentally break, or they will hit you back, or in this case, murder you. So both things happened there. So 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it as a film. It's rated 15 in the UK. It was really good. Everybody I felt was given equal fitting, equal billing. There wasn't like no main star. Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix played their parts really well. I enjoyed it. Yes, it's not going to be what you think it's going to be. I love the fact that they did do the dance in front of the pale moonlight. Yeah. Quotes. DC has become something that has to now give so many Easter eggs to the past in their movies, and if you haven't seen the previous stuff, you're not going to get the new stuff. We're seeing that a lot, and that's why people are struggling to understand the material. It's because we're dealing with people who haven't read the comics properly, haven't read them in detail, just want the Joker to go on the stand and go on a mass killing spree and it to be fun. But the reason they can't do it is people have taken influence from him and done really bad things in real life, so they've got to mitigate that. And I felt that this was a great way of mitigating that. It also explained why he never has been put to death. Because, yes, we nearly got the verdict, and you knew the verdict was going to be guilty, and then it got blown up. But it got blown up by people who were fans of the Joker, not Arthur himself. So he didn't have any influence over that. It's gone beyond what Arthur can control. And I mean, it's very interesting that that psychopath that stabs him is going to take on his Joker mantle and use it to basically cause havoc. And he's going to take Harley Quinn with him as his Girl Friday. That is what's going to happen. And that will be a really interesting movie if they make it. Because Scott Todd is like, gone, no, I'm not making it anymore. It's just too complicated. You don't like it. You don't get it. I got it. This was the origin story of all of that madness. And the third film is when Batman was going to come in. Joker 3 would be great. Even though Arthur Fleck is dead, long live Arthur Fleck, he's still alive, or the Joker persona is still alive. People have forgotten its history in this version. And it also explains how we can have 3 Jokers, because in the comic we have 3 Jokers. Don't ask, it just is what it is. And obviously we've got Harvey Dent now with his Two-Face after the whole... Because in the cartoons, it was that he got sprayed with acid by the Joker during the trial that made Harvey Dent Two-Face. In this, it's because the Joker, Arthur Fleck's trial got blown up and destroyed. So, really, really good. I enjoyed it. 5 out of 5 for me. But then again, I get it. DC comics are a puzzle. You've got to be a detective to work it out. Who goes with who? What's going on here? One character doesn't know the whole story. Even the Joker doesn't know the whole story. It is out of Arthur Fleck's hands what's happening here. He had no more control over Harley Quinn than he had control over what his lawyer was saying about him. That he was a poor, mentally ill guy that had broke. And I mean, his lawyer might have been the only person to be true, but that still didn't stop him from firing her. And it's interesting that we had a scene of Harley Quinn shooting the Joker early, or shooting Arthur, because she killed Arthur to get to the Joker. That's really important. That's the kind of level of madness we're dealing with here. And it's only many, many, many years later do we get to the Birds of Prey, Margot Robbie Harley Quinn, where she can totally break away from him. This is early. So that's me. I've rambled enough. 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. Sorry if it's been a bit bitty, this review. Please like, comment and subscribe, and look forward to my next video. Yes, I will be doing a full Rings of Power Season 2 review. Don't forget to click the notification bell for my latest video, and thank you so much for the support.